Again, please introduce yourself.
Oh, wow. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Agane Antunes. I am a PhD student here at the University of Florida under the supervision of Dr. Simmons. And I'm from São Luís, Maranhão. My research is focused on the interactions between global value chains and based on the Amazon biodiversity and infrastructure.
Fine. Good, welcome.
Thank you
Welcome.
thanks for having me.
Now you're changing to the next team. The next team is named NAM, or Northern Amazon. And the guy who is going to be first will Giuliano Marcelli. Please, can you introduce yourself?
Giuliano, I see Giuliano on the bottom,
Hi,
Yeah,
hello everyone.
babysitting.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm alone at home,
Alright,
so daughter
it's
just
all
woke
right.
up.
Enough.
Yeah, I'll give her
Life-
lunch too. So I'm really sorry about that, but
Don't
I'll do my
worry.
best to keep up to this workshop. So my name is Giuliano Locoselli. I'm a research fellow at the Institute of Environmental Research of the state of São Paulo. I'm mainly a specialist in trees, urban trees, tree growth, and ecosystem services provided by trees. I'm really happy to be a part of this.
Good, welcome.
Thank you. The next one will be Paulette Binoy, our woman from Guinea, but I don't see her.
We just have to keep
So-
going then.
Let's go. Vladia is the next one. Vlad is here? Not even Vladia. Henrique Pena. No Henrique Pena. So you have a problem. In this team, you have only Giuliano. It's impossible to have a team of only one person.
No, it's impossible. It's impossible. Wait, hold on a second. By the time we finish the rest of these, I will have figured out what to do. So just keep going.
All right. So the next team is the Eastern Amazon. It's the team will be the leader of the team will be Tiana Dabovic. Please, Tiana, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Paulo. I am Tiana Dabovic. I am from the University of Belgrade, Faculty of Geography, Department of Spatial Planning from Serbia. And I am the member of the transition team of International Geodesign Collaboration, representative for Europe, but I'm very much interested in this kind of workshops because I'm a lecturer in planning theory, land use planning, and since this year in geodesign. And I'm looking forward to this experience and learning from all of you. Thank you.
All right. So the next one of this team is Cynthia Simons. Please, Cynthia, can you introduce yourself, please?
Good afternoon. Yes, I'm Cynthia Simmons. I'm a professor at the University of Florida in geography. I also have an affiliate position with the Federal University of Pará. I've worked in the Amazon for about 20 years. Much of my work is very much at the local scale, looking at how environment and development policies create circumstances of contention and oftentimes not the best outcomes. I have a master's in urban and regional planning. So actually planning is always in the back of my mind, what is the real threat environment? It's what's to come. And working with colleagues, oftentimes they're so focused at the local scale that they don't realize what threats are to come. And so I've been very excited about the possibility of really piecing together, what are the plans for the Amazon, especially in a timely way that things can be changed before it's too late. I know a lot of dam resistance and various projects, it's after the fact. They've already started a project, then they realize it, then they start, protesting or wanting to, make some kind of changes. So I'm really excited about participating in this endeavor. And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. So the next participant of this team should be Alan Araújo, but I don't see him. You're not here, Alan. So you go to the next. It's Thiago. Please, Thiago, can you introduce yourself, please? Thiago Costa.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Thiago, you can see. So I am a professor in Federal University of Pará in Faculty of Geography and Cartography. There I teach in due process and spatial analysis. And it's a big pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Thiago. The next participant of this team should be Jessica Andrade. But are you here, Jessica? No, he's not here. So let's go to the last team. The last team is the Western Amazon. The Western Amazon will be led by Taísia Marques. Please, Taísia, can you present yourself, please?
Thank you, Paulo. Good afternoon, good evening to all of you. I am Taísia Marques. I am Brazilian, but I'm living in Peru since 4 years ago. And my background is architecture and urbanism, but I had a master's degree in landscape and planning from Wageningen in the Netherlands. And then I followed a PhD that I finished last year at the University of São Paulo, conducted on the lab where Paulo is a coordinator, and focus on green infrastructure. And nowadays I'm working between, I'm professor now from the Agrarian University of Peru and the Department of Planning and Construction, and where I work between these two scales, planning and the installation and design of green infrastructure and nature-based solutions. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Taísia. The next guy from this team is Victor Peña. Victor, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Renato. Hello, everybody. My name is Victor Peña. I teach at the University, La Molina University of Agriculture, the same as Taísia. I am professor in landscape architecture and land use planning. I have been using the method of Professor Steinitz, the 6-step method, since 10 years ago. So I know a little bit of geodesign, but I would like to practice more and hope this workshop helps a lot to learn. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. So the next one from this team is Larissa Galvão. Please, Larissa, can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Larissa Galvão. I am an architect and urban planner, and I'm from Manaus, and I'm very interested with the field, in the field of environmental thermal comfort and computer simulations related to urban urbanization. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm very happy with this exchange with knowledge, and so I'm very excited. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Larissa. The next one of this team will be Larissa Lopes. Larissa Lopes, can you introduce yourself? Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Are you guys
Please,
listening?
Larissa. Yes, we're hearing you.
Okay. My name is Larissa. I'm an architect. I had my graduation at University of Amazonas. I was Daniel Falcone's classmate, by the way. I have specialization in sustainable architecture and urban environment rehabilitation in University of Brasilia. And currently I'm studying an MBA with emphasis on smart cities at University of Rio de Janeiro. And I'm looking forward to this week. Thank you.
Thank you. So everybody has spoken?
Paulo, I think so. Paulo, make a note to this and pay attention. Agani and Jessica should move to the team that only has one person. That makes 3 people. By the way, 3 is the ideal team. Why? Because when they argue, they can vote. Very simple. And,
Yeah.
and you'll get much more with 3 people than with 4 or 5. And if you have 10, it will never work.
Yeah.
Right. This is very good.
So, sorry, Carl, just to double check, is Jessica with us?
We have Jessica. I thought we have Jessica with us. No, I may have.
No, she doesn't, she's not with us.
So Jessica D'Andrade is not with us?
No.
No,
Okay. In that case, Paolo, somebody on a team of 4 or 5 has to leave that team and shift to the other. It shouldn't make any
all
difference.
right.
Pick the person that should change.
I
One
have
of
a
them.
question.
Hmm?
I have a question. I have
Yeah.
to go to the other team, but
Yes.
I'm in transit now to pick up my son at school because I couldn't cancel. Is there any possible someone to put me in the team that I should to be now?
I missed your question. I'm sorry, Agani. Just repeat the question.
I'm driving right now real
I
quick
see that.
because I have to pick up my son at school.
I think.
But I can't add myself in the other team.
Okay.
We will do this for you.
We understand that. When you get back, we'll put you where we think we can use you best and where you'll get the most out of it.
Okay, yes.
Just relax. You do what you have to. And when you come back in,
I'm fine.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, Paolo, what is important?
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing a discussion and a demonstration now for almost the next half hour. After that, you'll interrupt and we'll move people around before they actually have to start working in a team. All right. So try to balance it out as humanely as you can. And there's no reason. It's really great if people are from the area that they're studying. That really helps. And it's good that we have people in that way. But those of you from Sao Paulo, you should be flexible. I mean, you know enough to be able to represent another area. And that's all that has to be done. Okay.
All right.
Well, let's then continue. Let me give a broad overview of why we're doing what we're doing and what we're going to do. And I'll do it in terms of a shared screen on my screen. Michele, I want to share my screen now.
You should be enabled.
Okay, just a minute. Host disabled, participant share screening.
Okay, sorry. Then I will.
Should I be? Okay, I think I'm all right now.
Okay. Video's coming. Okay.
Great. Okay. The purpose of this activity is to look at the whole Amazon and to be able to look at any part of the Amazon and see how scales are similar in what they deal with in terms of information or when they have to be different. That's one purpose. The second purpose is this is the most important large landscape in the world. The third purpose is what it needs is an agreement among people who start out disagreeing. The fourth thing is it has to test technical support for making a designed, purposeful plan for a huge area where people start out with partial knowledge and disagreement and should end up with greater knowledge and some level of agreement. And what it certainly should not become is a zero-sum game where there's one winner and many losers. This kind of a problem, which is larger than a project and smaller than the whole world, is a very common problem, and it requires the collaboration of scientists of various kinds who do not necessarily agree, and on the other hand, and who work at the large size, and design professionals, including planners, architects, lawyers, bankers. They're after changing things, and the people of the place have to make the decisions and have to live there. And it basically is, how do we bring people together to collaborate and negotiate so that we can actually solve in a better way the large development urban project to the continent or the watershed, which the Amazon is. And the reality is, how do we eventually decide the whole world by designing its pieces? In 2018, Brian and I and Tom Fisher, after thinking about this for a few years, we decided that we needed to develop a large number of teams of people who could speak the same language and who could think similarly about very large, very complicated projects. We did this by word of mouth. There's been no real advertising and there is no budget. This is an entirely volunteer enterprise where all these schools are doing this kind of work anyway, but they're not speaking in the same language. We have 220 universities in 59 countries, and we've completed 130 projects. And 5,000 people so far have directly worked as professionals, as faculty, and as students in these studies. And we have a very, very active group in South America, which has had two continental conferences already. There have been about 25 international conferences in the last decade on geodesign. We hope that those of you who are not members in this workshop will join us formally. All the members have agreed to the following 4 things. First, that every study that we do, unless it's really not relevant, will study 8 systems plus 2 local ones: water, agriculture, green infrastructure, energy, transport, industry and commerce, institutions, and urban housing, and 2 others that are particularly important for that particular geography. We've all agreed to study square, multi-scaled study areas, so that even if you have a political boundary governing your work, you still are going to study what's outside your political boundary. We've all agreed to study the history of the place, the present, the assumptions about the year 2050, and a middle stage, so that we could do 3 scenarios. One is the early adopter of innovative planning. The second one, which is the bottom one, is the non-adopter. What happens if everything now simply continues for the next 30 years? And the middle one is, what if it continues for 15 years and then they decide they've made a mistake and try to move toward the early adopter design? What do they get? They get half of it, basically. And is that good or bad? And finally, we all agree that we would evaluate in our own way these various scenarios with the UN Sustainability Development Goals. Now, in 1990, I wrote a long paper that organizes large collaborative studies, and it was published in a book in 2012. It's a book without any answers, but it asks what I think is the right questions. There are 6 questions and 3 stages and iterations, lots of iterations. And this book is in many languages, including Spanish and Portuguese. And if anybody here wants a copy, email me, and I will send you a PDF of this book, which you can share freely. I no longer take royalties on it. I basically give the book away. It's in Japanese, Chinese, Arabic, in quite a few languages. And what it has is a workflow of 6 different kinds of models: representation, process, evaluation, change, impact, and decision. And this workshop is going to focus on the change models. How do we go from the past to the present into the future by combining diagrams of policies and projects? GeoDesign Hub is a software program which supports the workflow, which is described in my book from 2012. There is nothing in the software except the management of information. All of the information has to come from the outside, and it's all human managed. There's no artificial AI information in this. And it's a very sophisticated and very easy to use software with a lot of additions that make it a very complicated piece of software. It can be used in a competition, it can be used in a commission, but it's best used in a collaborative negotiation format where you begin on the left with people who disagree, and they each have their own priorities and their own decision models among the 10 systems. And the 10 systems are color coded. They each have their own requirements of things that they want to happen. They each have geography, and they start to fill their geography with projects and policies. But they do it collectively. We're all working down here, led by a group, led by Brian, Michele, Paolo, Gus, and me, in these teams, each making their own team, but seeing what the other people are doing. And if they see something that somebody else is doing, like this team has this yellow dot, and the green team says, that's a good one for us, what they will do is take their diagram into their design. So unlike most universities where the students guard their work and make it private, here everybody's work can be stolen because you want your ideas to influence other designs, so that at the end, when there's formal negotiation on Friday, your design became these designs, survived these 2, and is in the final design. And what happens is that the final design emerges through the process of borrowing and negotiation. It doesn't begin by a brilliant idea from one of these people who disagrees with everybody else. It begins with disagreement, and theoretically, and in most practical cases, ends in agreement. The Amazon we want is the work of about 130 scientists over the past years, which Brian and I knew about, and we got access to the draft version. This report, which is 34 chapters, it's hundreds of pages of text with very few graphics. And it's basically a scientific encyclopedia of the Amazon, its history, and it's a scientific perspective on its social, ecological, geological, hydrological, any logicals have a chapter. What it doesn't have is a physical, spatial plan. Brian and I proposed to the scientists. We met with Carlos Nobre, we met with the leading scientists in this group, and we said, why don't we try to make a plan as part of your report? And they said, no, we're too busy making the report. And so Brian and I, a couple of months ago, said, let's get Paulo and let's get some other people and let's just make it as a proof of concept to show that we can do it. We have a very, very small budget, but it's basically being done with everybody volunteering to join us, including you. And we're very grateful, both to the scientists and to Emma Torres, who gave us the report, and to you for joining us. This study is different from the most, there are hundreds of geodesign studies. I've been involved in at least 100 in my career. Normally, like the example of Manaus on the left, you make a series of diagrams of projects which are solid colored polygons in a color code, an international color code. This is housing, this is industry, this is energy, this is a reservoir, or policies. Policies always have striped lines. Projects are always solid, but they're in the same color. Normally, when you do a project, you put one or two or three projects or policies on top of each other. Here you have two, here you have two. Here's only one, here's only one, here's only one. But in this project in the Amazon, because we read the report, there are 89 policies and projects in the Amazon that come from the science report, 89 good ideas. And if we put 89 things on top of each other, this would turn black and be illegible. So we have a very special problem of synthesis. How do we make a design that has 89 simultaneous ideas in one location and let it be understood by anybody? That's an enormous, enormous theoretical and mechanical and methodological problem. What Brian and I did was we read the report, each independently, and we each independently and then merged our notes. And this is our note. In chapter 25, in list sequence 11, on page 30, somebody said, let's develop the bioeconomy for flowing waters. On page 27, on chapter 27, page 10, for the fisheries, they said, create sustainable fisheries for commerce. And what we did was we took all of their ideas and we placed them into these 10 systems that we decided with their agreement that we would use in the proof of concept study. And these are not in an order. They're not in an order. One is society and culture, conservation, water, agriculture, forestry, industry and commerce, energy, transport, urban, and institutions. And these are the colors that are used internationally in the collaboration. Everybody does 8 of these. We have added society and we have added forestry as special interests for the Amazon. We then asked all of the participants, except the ones who joined us at the Cynthia and your people, the ones who came later were all part of a Delphi method in 2 rounds, where each of the participants ranked in 1, 2, and 3 the importance, in their view, individually, of these policies and these projects for the Amazon. And some are very clearly very important, and some are not unimportant, but they're less seen as important. Our intention is to retain all of these ideas, they're not ours, in the final design. But the problem is, how do you show it? What we then did was we organized these 89 ideas in a color code. And if you look at the first column, these are the text that describes it. In this column is the color of the social and a numbering system 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down here to 89. And each of these ideas, whether it's a policy in the beginning or a project at a policy at the beginning or a project, is in this list in the order of the spreadsheet. In other words, the number one policy for society is respect the territories of indigenous and local people. It was the highest ranked of the social cultural set. We then asked Gus and Paulo, and I helped this, and Brian helped this, and Rishi helped this, to collect the data that was germane to the ideas that we were trying to express. And these are mainly Brazilian data and international satellite data. We also drew some diagrams for which we had no data. For example, I drew this diagram. I drew this diagram showing improved satellite coverage over the Amazon. We could not find a map where that showed the satellites. But we built a database from public sources. There's nothing protected about these. And what Gus spent last week doing with Rishi's help and some from me, as he has put almost all of the 89 ideas in their text code and in their color-coded GIS map into GeoDesign Hub. And this is the project that we will be using this morning, later today, and all of tomorrow we will be designing in this software. This is the real project. Between now and later, nobody should be drawing a new diagram in the Amazon GeoDesign project. We need this to be kept clean for tomorrow and for this afternoon. This is how we're going to be working. This afternoon, each of the teams is going to identify the 3 to 5 most important policies and projects in each system from the perspective of its geography. In other words, the central team will basically say, the people who live in the depths of Amazonia, what do they want for the Amazon? The people who live on the east in Belém, in Para, they're going to say, what do we want from the Amazon? The people who live in Peru are going to say, what do we want from the Amazon? And so each team is going to identify the 3 to 5 most important of the ideas that it believes it wants in each system. And each team is going to make 10 system-based maps. It's like taking the special sectors which have to agree on a regional plan and saying, what do you want the transport people to do? What do you want the water people? What do you want the forestry department to do? What do you want the society to do? Tomorrow, on Wednesday, we're going to combine all of the policies and see whether they make sense as a package. And we're going to combine all of the projects and see what they do. So after sectoral plans, we're going to look at plans of projects and policies. And we're going to make a first synthetic plan with 20 policies and projects maximum. We've done many experiments, and we think we can see and understand 20 plans and policies together, but not 89. So what is the plan? The plan is all of these maps, 13 maps, 1 of 20, 1 of projects, 1 of policies, and 10 of systems. And no idea gets lost. And midway tomorrow, we're going to say, let's look at everybody's plan. And each team is going to present in 3 minutes because we're all using the same graphic system. And we're going to revise as we think we need to do it again. We're going to be working in teams. They'll be a little bit different from this. We'll publish a new version for tomorrow. And finally, there are social rules. And I'm not treating you like undergraduates. Believe me, I need to say this because it's important. We're going to be working on unrealistic time limits. I've done this many times with real people. And it's better to work with a strict time limit and be hurried than to talk too much. So these are the social rules. If you don't understand, ask a question. If you say you'll do it, because this is a decentralized task. The team doesn't have to work together. They could divide the work and come back. If you can't do it, ask for help. If asked for help, give it. No idea is a bad idea, but not all ideas are equally good. All ideas are public property. An idea becomes a good one when it's adopted by others. Nothing is worth more than 5 minutes of discussion. If you can't agree within 5 minutes on a point, vote and be done. This is a proof of concept. Nobody's going to go to jail. Nobody's going to invest money. This is simply showing that we can do this. When in doubt, vote. A good design is a finished design. I tell that to my doctoral students. A good PhD thesis is a finished PhD thesis. It's our design. I did this part. Just let me check something. Yeah, it's 1:45. What I want to do now is I'm going to what's going on here? Can you hear me?
Yes, go.
Okay, something happened here. I need to
See,
escape.
you see the schedule?
Yeah. I know what I'm with you now. Just a minute. What I need to do, I need to continue screen sharing, but I want to now go into my GeoDesign hub. So,
Okay.
so let me just do that very quickly. GeoDesign hub. Log in. Rehearsal. Now, as you can see here.
Yeah, please, Carl, share the screen again.
Yeah, I have to share the screen again. Just a minute. Share screen. Share screen. No, not this one. This one. Share screen. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What you see here is a mixture of experimental diagrams, some GIS maps, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm first going to show you what happens. You noticed in my slide when I pointed it out that we have 89 of these little diagrams. There are many things that we can do. The first thing that we can do, which is to look at what these are. So up here where it's below it says all diagrams is a button called shapes and text. And we can look for agricultural test policy and it'll show it to us by pressing on it. We could show expand renewable energy and we could do it. Or we can look at shapes and we can press it and it'll tell us number 72, expand renewable energy. New air services, improve river transport, indigenous land, river network. In other words, we can work from text to graphics or from graphics to text. If we want to put something into a design, we press the button, we press the button, we press the button, we press the button. And we scroll down, and there it is. We can zoom in. We can zoom into Manaus. And we can see what these policies and projects do to Manaus. And in Manaus, we can look at the existing land use. We can add the roads. We could add any kinds of other policies that we want to. And in fact, we could not use the base map. We can use the satellite. We can sync the maps. And we can compare the satellite to what we're proposing. But I have the feeling that my design isn't all that good. So I'm going to draw a new diagram. And then I'm going to tell my teammate McCallie, who's in Italy, that I need something from him, and we can see how it works. So I'm going to go back into, I know what I need. I need a new university. I need a new university. So I'm going to add in the institutional column a project. Describe my diagram. A new university. Manaus. It's a public university. It's a polygon. It begins now and it takes 10 years to build. It will cost $3 million US.
Maybe you should not use comma, Cal.
Okay, that's fine.
You can change it anyway later.
I know. And I think what I need here is the road system. That's what I want. I want to zoom in a little bit more. I edit the map. I add a feature, and I'm going to put it right there where the new growth is going to be. Save the diagram, and it's called institution number 7. There it is, new university. Put it in my design. Where's Manaus? There's Manaus. There's my new university. Not very well drawn. So what I need to do is edit something. I need to edit that drawing, that diagram. So let me go back. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to edit the housing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move the housing a little bit away from the university, because I'd rather have other new housing of a higher density or something else between the university and the housing. And now I'm making urban 9. I save this. I remove it. Okay, I hope this works. I hope I got it right. I'm going to put this in my design. I'm going to go back in. it didn't work. I didn't save the change.
Yeah, I think by mistake was canceled, the polling.
Michele,
Yeah.
I think what I need, and since you're the urban agriculture person, I think what I need is an urban agriculture policy to integrate with the housing.
Okay.
Can you make an urban agriculture policy
Okay.
while I replace the housing?
Okay. Just give me a few seconds. I will put it in the urban system.
Yep.
Policy.
I'm now making a new diagram of where housing will be expanded. And I'm going to save that diagram. I'm going to add it to my design. I'm going to go in here. There it's back. This, by the way, is a reserved area in Manaus.
Okay, Carl, I draw a policy just up to the north.
Okay, now this is,
Partially.
okay, let me see if I can find it now. Just a minute. We're going to go to the base map here. Now, a coordinator has all of the people on her or his team in a box. This is all going to be repeated tomorrow. Don't worry about it, but just watch what's going to happen. This is Michele Campagna in Italy. I press his work. And what I'm hoping now is that his design is visible. There it is.
It is.
It is. But what you did is you put it in the housing group and not in the forestry group. So what I can do now, there's his, I hope that people can see. Can you see that it's yellow? That's too bad. Okay. What I do now is I import, and all of a sudden, his design is on my design. And I see it. There it is. It's there. I see it, Michele. So there, I see your diagram. Everybody else can see it also. This striped diagram is a policy on top of my project. And he did it in Italy, and I took it in about 10 seconds. Right? So what this shows is that we can look at the effect of what the Amazon wants. That's what the Amazon wants. And this is what Manaus wants. And you can actually, I can throw this into 3D and I can tell you roughly what it costs because the computer keeps track of how big it is. What does a hectare or a square kilometer of housing cost? That's an easy number to find if you know where to look. So basically what we have here is a very complicated and actually very sophisticated use of very simple diagrams. And we can make this into a very complex process. Okay, now, Michele, I'm going to stop my screen share.
Okay.
I'm now in with you. So I'm sorry to do this simply as a demonstration. But those of you who are new to this realize that you could say, what should the Amazon be from the perspective of an urban designer or an architect in Manaus? and say, okay, I'm going to start with what I want for Manaus. But then I want to influence what the plan does around me. Or you can start from, I'm the president of Peru. What do I want? Or the governor of Para. Or you could start by the tribal chief of an indigenous group. We've worked with indigenous people in Brazil, making the designs with them. Paulo knows this, Brian knows this. Ana Clara Moro ran the project. So this does work, and it can be in 3D, and it can figure out the costs and do all those things. What we're going to be doing is in a highly choreographed way, so that we can keep track of how ideas higher and higher get into the overall summary of the idea. And Brian, who has worked a lot in this past week on choreographing this set of instructions, is going to take over now and take us through the tasks. Brian, it's roughly 1 hour in. So we're exactly on schedule according to this. And what you do is take us through the procedures that you want us to follow. Then we're going to actually get you into teams, into rooms, and by 2 hours from now, or earlier if you've done it, we want 10 saved screenshots and 1 list of your priority projects in each system. And Brian will take you to that point. And Brian, when you're ready, Michele will set up the rooms and people will get to work.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, just would like to give you an update. We have a new participant that joined a little bit later. So I see Jessica now, and also Paulette and Claudia. So good. Basically, almost all the group are fine. We could keep the original group.
Keep the original groups. That's fine. That'll make several people happy. That's just fine.
Okay.
Well, Paulette and Jessica, welcome. We're going to keep going. You'll introduce yourselves to your team, and you'll introduce yourselves to everybody either later today or tomorrow. Okay. But welcome. We're very happy that you've been able to join us. Brian, you're on.
Yes, so I want to do a couple of introduction things. Michele, can I share my screen, please?
Yes, let me check. Okay, you should be able now.
I certainly can. Thank you.
Okay.
Can everybody see my
Yes.
PowerPoint? Okay. So
make it full screen if you can. Make it full screen, Brian.
Is that better for people? I can't see what you can see.
Yes,
it's okay now.
It's okay. Good.
All right. So before we go on to the next step and have you actually do some work in GeoDesign Hub yourselves, I need to ask you for 2 things regarding the recording. It's very important to us that we record the process of how this project develops, and there are a number of steps in it. Everybody should have received by email a summary document, a workflow that has this information in it. So I'm going to show you something, but hopefully you've all got the PDF or a printout of this material. There is a 1-page sheet for recording information as you go. That is called the record sheet. That is a 1-page PDF. And I hope that everybody has been able to print that, because when you start your process, we want you to use that to record. You can record it in pencil or pen onto that record sheet, the priorities. If you look at the sheet that I have on the screen here, the recording sheet looks like this. and it has places, it has a number of columns, and we'll walk you through all of these columns, but it has a number of columns where we want you to record as you go the choices that your team is making. Later on, after the workshop, we will ask you to upload that information onto a Google Sheet. And I'm hoping that at least one person in each team has a Google account. That means you will be able to access the Google Sheets. What I would like you to do is, if anybody in the group, if you could go to this link, copy this link, it's on the piece of paper that you have, it's in the PDF that I sent to you last night. But if you could go to this, it's GeoDesign PP is the link there. Go to that link, join the Google Sheet. I will probably have to give some of you permission to join. But if you would do that soon, that would be very helpful. That would mean that you have access to the recording sheet. But for the purpose of the workshop, it's probably quicker to use this one, record your notes in pencil onto this sheet, and then upload them later onto the Google Sheet. There is another set of recordings that we want you to make. Carl just mentioned that at many different stages during this process, we want you to take a screenshot of the maps that you are creating, take them at as big a size as you possibly can, so we have the best resolution, and then save them. And as we go, there are instructions about what names to give these, but save them. If you go to this link, and I apologize, there is one little bit of confusion here. My link actually has team, and then there is a little underline in between that and folders. If you don't understand that, then just write team folders with no gap in it. Go to that link and it will take you to a Google repository that looks like this. It will take you to a set of Google folders, and you should save your screenshots into the folder appropriate to your team. If any of this is unclear to anybody that's listening, if you send me a message through the chat, and I can, talk directly to you to help you with this. But what I want you to do is I want you to go to these links, this one for the recording sheet, and this one for the team folders. Make sure that at least one person in every team has access to those to save the information as you go. And, do that fairly soon. So I hope that's clear. If anything I've said is not clear, please send me a chat in the chat box, and I'll get to you and help you individually. So I want to just give you a preview of what we're going to do in a minute. And we are going to, each of you, if you go back to the very beginning of the chat, each of you, I think, joined what we call the rehearsal site, which is what Carl was showing you a few minutes ago. We are going to have you set up some experiment with using a decision model in that to set your priorities, which is the first set of information that we want you to record. So we are going to use the system priority setting tool in GeoDesign Hub. We're going to set the priorities. We're going to visualize those, and then we're going to transfer that information onto the paper sheet that I just described. That's the first step. And then that sheet is going to look like this. And what we will do is we will record the information from your decision model into the recording sheet that I circulated to everybody by email. So I'm hoping this is clear. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and then I'm going to start sharing my screen that has GeoDesign Hub. Is this clear? Does anybody have any questions right now?
Brian, are you going to, in GeoDesign Hub, are you going to do a decision model, make a decision model?
that was the intention to do
Yeah,
that now.
yeah, I think that'll help a lot. I think
Yeah.
that'll make it clear.
And
Okay,
I
so-
copied again the link to join the project for those.
Oh,
who are
great.
interested.
Thank you very much. Okay.
It is
So
in the-
I'm going into, I'm sharing my GeoDesign Hub screen. So I'm hoping everybody can see my screen now.
Are you in the real project or in rehearsal?
I should be in, I'm in rehearsal at the moment
Okay, that's fine.
because everybody was
Yeah.
invited to rehearsal. So
That's fine.
hopefully we're all there. So if you look in the chat box, if you're not in rehearsal yet, use the link that Michele has just posted in the chat box. Just click on that link and that will take you to the rehearsal page, which will look like mine on the share screen. And sorry, Michele, Carl, confirm for me, the only person that can actually make these changes is the team leader?
No, actually, everybody who is included in the team.
Excellent. Okay, everybody can do this. Okay,
It's basically a Delphi, it's an open Delphi method. If you had 100 people, you'd have 100 people doing it, and there would be a calculation that does the averaging for the team priorities. So that should be live.
yep. So if you can see my
Cursor, your cursor is there.
see how I am changing the number on my on the cult button, which is the one on the immediate left.
10 is most important.
Sorry?
10 is most important.
Yes, 10 is most important. And then when you have set them how you wish, then click the blue button, or it will be blue when you highlight it, that says set priorities. And you will see that my columns have changed to reflect the numbers that I have got in my priorities settings.
And if the other member of the group of the same team do it all at the same time, when the team leader click on set priorities, the system will calculate the averages.
Yeah. So if other people that are in the same team as me, the COOR team, are clicking those buttons, you will see, if you click that set priorities button, you may see that display change. So that is the set of priorities that we as a group have given to the various systems.
Generally, when you're in a political situation where you know people disagree, letting each person express their own opinion and then have some statistical base for judging is extremely helpful. And this turns out to be from the political aspect of doing a joint project, an extremely useful thing. Brian, then sync the.
Yeah. So
move your screen up. Move your screen up first a little bit. That's it. So we can see how the diagrams change color.
okay, so if you're watching the diagrams at the bottom here, I am going to click this button to say sync with the priorities, and that is going to change. It's changed very quickly. That is going to change the order of the columns of diagrams so that they match the priorities that have been expressed up here. That is very important because it acts as a reminder to you that amongst your team, the diagrams, the design diagrams to the left of the display are the ones that are most important. So as you are adding diagrams, because of maps overlay, as you put them in, if you start inputting maps from the right, moving across towards the left, then the most important ones on the left will be on top when you have finished your diagrams. So that is the decision model process, that is setting priorities through the decision model. Carl, the next step, do you want to now go to do this within the?
Well, let's just review. The teams are going to do this as teams when they're in their rooms. But I think what you need to do, Brian, before they go in their rooms is go through what the product, how do they get to the product that we want at the end of today?
Okay. What we want you to do once you've got to this step is we want you on the piece of paper that you have. So that is the setting your priorities piece. The first thing that you will do, and I hope everybody's got this, you know, by your side or somewhere, because I can't show you the two screens at the same time. But on that piece of paper, the first thing I want you to do is we want you to transfer the numbers here that will correspond. Now, these names across here do not correspond to the names that are on your recording sheet. So don't do this at this step. But when we get to the real project, you will transfer the number 10. So when you see the system con on your recording sheet, you will write in the number 10, which is the priority that was set for it. Sorry, I apologize. You record it from here. So the number 9 for con, the number 9 in this case for CONS, the number 7 for energy, the number 6 for forestry, the number 6 for urban, 6 for agriculture, 5 for transportation, 4 for culture, 3 for institution, and 2 for commerce and industry. So the first step is to transfer those numbers onto the paper recording sheet.
Anyway, it would be good to take a screenshot also of this part for personal memory.
It's a good idea. Brian, can I suggest that you go to the diagrams and take that first column and decide to make, no, don't do the first one, do the third one, do the third column, just do the third column, the energy column. And what are the 2 most important projects or 3 most important projects in that column? Actually do it for forestry. Just take the 4th one, the dark green one.
Yeah. So as a group, what we want you to do is we want you to pick 3 projects and 3 policies. Now, in this case, we only have 1 policy. The one policy, policies are recognizable because they have stripes, they have hatch marks like this. Projects are solid like this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select 1 project, 1 policy, because there is only 1. And then I'm going to discuss with my colleagues, should we be looking at restoring landscapes for multiple use, restoring forests on deforested land, or implemented managed sustainable forestry? Which are the most important of these? So what I'm going to say is I'm going to do this one. I'm going to restore forests for landscapes for multiple use. So that's going to be my first project. And then my second project is going to be to, what's this one? Develop non-timber forest products. And then the last one is to restore mined areas to forest. So now what I've done is I've selected in order, I've selected 3 projects and 1 policy.
That's fine. That's fine.
And here they are reflected in a map.
And now you're going to screenshot.
So my next, and I don't think this side. No.
Brian, let me show. Let me say something. Let me interrupt because it's something that we didn't test. Brian, go to the button that's the square in the upper right, upper left-hand corner. There's a plus or minus in the square. Go to the square. Below, below, below. That one, press it. Zoom in on the upper left-hand corner. In the upper left-hand corner, zoom in. Even more. You can see, stop. You can see that there are, if you look right in the, you can see that there are 3 different projects. The darkest green, the middle green, the lightest green, and the stripes. There are 4 different projects here. If there were 10 projects, you'd never know whether there were 10 or 9 or 8. Now, you can take a screenshot of this, but that's not what we want. What we want is the screenshot of the, now go out of that by pressing the square again in the upper left, Brian. That's it. That's the screenshot we want for the entire Amazon. So zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. That's the screenshot that we want. And after that, you go to the next system, you pick the best 3 projects, rank them 1, 2, 3, put them in, and then take a screenshot. Then go to the next system and do it in the rank order of the importance.
Yeah, and although you may not like the look of the map here, the important part of this, the important point about this part of the process is that you get to understand what some of the projects and policy diagrams look like. So this is really allowing you to have an overview of the kinds of policies and projects that we extracted from the SPA report. So this is more of a familiarity exercise. So as Carl said, for each one, don't spend a lot of time worrying about it, about how the map looks. Take the screenshots and save them and then move on to the next one. So we started with forestry, but continue until you've taken a screenshot. You've done the same process and taken a screenshot for each of the 10 systems.
So you should remind also, sorry, to unselect before going to the next system.
Yes, you have to erase them by going to the black line and pressing the little box.
Good point.
Actually do that. And now the map should.
Yeah, I've just got one left.
And now it's empty and you can begin again.
Yeah. So we now go to the next system. There's the next one. So we go through that process and then you select them. And what we'll ask you to do is we will ask you to select them in the reverse order of the priorities. And if you have the workflow sheet that we circulated to you, if you have that handy, all of the detailed instructions on this are on that sheet. So you just follow the steps, and once you've done it once, you will understand very easily how to follow the steps through.
Let me add one thing. Gus is quite right in the chat box. I would urge you to do this selection process first for your most important and last for your least important system. But when you make the map for any system, put the least important diagram in first and the most important diagram for that system in last, so that it is located on top of the compound graphic. That's actually very important. And then record what you've done. So Brian and I and Michele and Gus and Paolo will be available on call through chat once you're in your rooms. Let me sort of summarize again. Michele is now going to organize this. Everybody will be going into the real Amazon Geodesign project. Actually, let me share my screen.
Let me just share one, Carl, just for a second, if I can.
Actually, you should go into. I don't have to do it. You're in screen share already.
Yeah, let me just look at this one again. This sort of summarizes those steps. So
Yeah, good.
you've used your recording sheet to record the 1, 2, 3 priorities. So 1 is the most important, 2 is the next, 3 is the least important. You do that for policies, which are the orange ones, and for projects, which have got the green box. And then you add those in the map in the reverse order, as we just showed you.
3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1.
Yeah.
And save it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so actually, Michele is now going to put you into different rooms.
Yes, before I would like to show something, because now each team coordinator is set as leader in GeoDesign Hub. So let me share my screen and I will show you just one trick to include the other member. Actually, Brian, can you show again your GeoDesign Hub, please?
Oh,
I'm not team leader.
Oh, okay.
Can I, while he's doing that, the word leader is not what is meant by the word leader. I use the word coordinator, not leader, not commander-in-chief, not general. It's the person who is assigned into that position has one extremely important responsibility. That person is the only one who tomorrow can save a design. And the reason for having only one person on a team be able to save a design is so that we don't have a proliferation of multiple designs, and we have to end up agreeing to some extent on something that gets saved. It's a small team. You're all equal. There's no necessary superiority. Some may be experts, some may have a lot of experience, some may become leader, but not in a formal way. This is a collaboration. It's not a hierarchy, and it's not designed as a hierarchy. But somebody has to be limited with a particular task. And I call that person the coordinator. It's actually the person who does sometimes the most work. So let's go ahead, Brian.
So basically, now you see under your team up left, there is a button called Add Teammate. If you can click, Brian, please. So that each team leader can select from the drop-down list the other members, and then add the user to design team. So the team coordinator can look for the other and add it. If you have difficulties, I can help you with that. So now I set the team coordinator already Rubens for CAM team, Giuliano for NAM team, Tiana for EAM, and
Sorry, Kelly.
Aisha for WAM. Yes?
Giuliano Locoselli will not be able anymore to be the leader of the team. You have to choose another one in the NAM.
So who do you have?
Who could be Vladia, perhaps?
Vladia, I think, has a problem with audio. She wrote in the chat that she's with us but without audio.
Agani.
Agani or Paulette. Agani is Agani back with us? She left a while ago to.
Yes, I am back.
Okay, she's like to be the team coordinator?
Yes.
Okay, I will set you up as a team coordinator. Just give me 1 sec.
And Michele, when you're done with that, put into chat the link code once more for the Amazon GeoDesign project, please. We're working now in the real project. Scroll down to the projects, Brian, if that's you. Is that your screen share, Brian?
Yeah.
Scroll down to the project so they get a sense of what it's going to look like. This is the project that has all of the diagrams. And now, Brian, go to the top of it and show them the button that says text. Toggle between text and shape. Text and shape. So these are all the real diagrams that we've made. And it's these that you're going through and prioritize them. If you look, for example, transportation only has 3. It only has 3. So you can only get 3 into its group, but forestry has more, conservation has more. And what you see is that the scientists that we've taken these ideas from are working on a chapter basis, and 2 chapters may come up with the same idea, and we've used them both. If you press, Brian, press on industry 4, just press on the square itself. Press on the square. That's it. It'll make it larger. It'll tell you what there is to know about it. And then you have to go to in the little X on the upper right to get rid of it off your screen. One of the things that the team might decide is not to do it as a group of 3, but if you've got, let's say, 3 people, to each of you do 3 of them. You can subdivide this task. There's no reason why all 3 of you have to decide everything.
Everybody's also got this is the sheet that I've been referring to, the recording sheet. So the names that you just saw coming up in the text, they're all on this sheet. So to help you navigate them, you can read the names here and you can see the numbers next to them. So those are exactly the same numbers that correspond where you see the number 2, protect cultural heritage. If we go back to number 2, protect cultural heritage of indigenous and local peoples. So those are the full titles for the so that's why I say that having this sheet alongside, this is the sheet on which you will mark your rank ordering when you do it and mark your priorities that you'll use to make your diagrams. The other information it has is that when Carl was presenting this, each of these is in order of the priority that they came from the Delphi analysis that we did. So you see that the first one of these had a score of 16 priority, and the lowest one was a 4. The highest project in this area was an 11 and then a 6. So you see this one took this from the conservation area, restore lands to maximum multiple benefits. 23 is, the highest of all of these in terms of, so when you see that, it's not one you definitely have to adopt, but you have to take it seriously because so many people think it's important.
My view of this first exercise is that you should be self-interested. You should be saying, what does Peru want? What does Guyana want? What does Manaus want? What does Belém want? And be hard-headed. Don't be soft-headed. Be hard-headed. It'll get more and more similar as it goes along tomorrow and as it goes along Friday. But it's really interesting to see tomorrow whether a hard-headed, self-interested plan is very similar or very different.
Michele, I think you sent the link for the rehearsal, and we've moved to the Amazon.
Ah, we are already in Amazon? Okay.
Yes, we're going to be in Amazon. We should be in
Okay.
Amazon.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, Michele, set up the team so that they can get to work.
Yeah. Okay, this is the link for the Amazon GeoDesign. So this is the real project. And I will set up the team immediately into that. Tiana, please join the new project.
I clicked the link, but I don't see the team.
Everybody should be getting into the GeoDesign Hub Amazon GeoDesign.
Tiana, I'm copying again the link to enter in the Amazon GeoDesign.
The link is in chat. I see it.
I am in the big Amazon project.
Okay, I will refresh. Maybe I cannot see you already. The other conductor are already set. Actually, conductor is the name that is used in GeoDesign Hub.
Okay.
So coordinator or conductor. Okay, Tiana, I see you, and now you are a conductor.
Okay, thank you.
So has all the conductor understood how to add the other member? Any doubt on that?
Yes, but I couldn't find my team yet. When I go to the selection, I cannot see Thais or.
Maybe they didn't join yet.
Yeah.
Paulette should be there. No, sorry, you are the first one, Thais, Daniel, Roger. Why move to the other team?
Okay, you've got a note here. The West team is in shape, is good.
Okay. Whenever we are ready, I can open the breakout rooms.
I think you have to do that right now. Why not? Cynthia Simmons says, I wait to be added.
I can add you. And I'm going to open the breakout rooms in a few seconds, and you should go to your breakout rooms. So they are named as the group, CAM, NAM, EAM, WAM.
And once you're in your room, the coordinator, the conductor, get it going. The first task is the decision model, then the reordering, then the system by system, 1, 2, 3 priorities, and then screenshots. And what we hope is that when you're finished with the 10 saved screenshots, that you call either Michele or Brian or me so that we know that you're done, And then the next time we meet is something like 10 minutes before the opening of the second day of the workshop. Tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day if we get through today. Did you see the note from Agani, Michele?
Agani, you are the conductor of team NAM, so not the original team, but you were moved to NAM because some people were missing, including Giuliano, the previous coordinator. So you became coordinator of NAM.
Ah, but she says she said she was in the wrong team.
Let me check again.
Okay, we'll change it, Magani. Okay, everybody.
Agani Antunes, right?
Okay.
Agani Antunes, right?
Yes, yes.
You are coordinator of team NAM.
EAM.
So you should call for Paulette, Vladia, and that's all. They are the only member available.
Okay.
She's listed under EAM where I'm at.
Yeah.
But just ignore it. It won't matter. It doesn't matter if she's listed.
Okay.
We'll get, yeah. All right, well,
can
look. Questions?
Yes, please. I'm trying to figure out the usernames. I was checking the surnames, but it seems like it's Arujo. Okay, thank you, Alan. And Jennifer, please, can you put your username in GeoDesign Hub in the chat so I can add you in the team? Thank you.
Thank you for your patience. Getting to this point is not easy, and it's simply not easy. We've got roughly a little bit more than an hour to do a task that should not take more than an hour. And this is an exploration. You have to sort of self-organize. There are lots of ways to do it. There's no particular right way, but once you get the decision model right and your things are ordered, go from left to right, or say, I'm going to take number 1, you take number 2, you take number 3. I'll take 4, you take 5, you take 6. I'll take 7, you take 8, you can 9. And we recommend to each other. One more thing to say. I've been involved in a lot of projects, including one where we did a serious piece of research on how many iterations does it take before the design is as good as it can be, and the next iteration will make it worse. And the answer is approximately 4. Those of you who are trained as architects with faculty who are 60 years old are expected to make your first design the best design. It turns out that in an iterative collaboration, the first design is never the best design. Not only sometimes, but never. Furthermore, we have found that the initial decisions are rarely surviving the final design. In this case, all of the decisions that are available will be in the final design, and all we're really doing is reading that the final design is how you present the summary of what you're proposing with the things that grab people the most, but they suck along all of the other ideas that are there for that system. In other words, not picking it does not mean rejecting it. It means that it's simply not being presented to the public as one of the most important ideas that they have to think about. And that's psychologically really, really hard, especially for young students. It's really hard for them to say, if I don't get picked, I lose. No, if you don't get picked, it's just that you're quietly part of the design, but you're not the thing that's being presented to the public when the governor or the prime minister only has 10 minutes for your attention. If they have 10 minutes, you say the thing that's important and you stop. You don't say the thing that's in 89th place and get attention. That's what we're trying to figure out. Brian?
Yeah, sorry, Kyle. This is housekeeping, but I can see that several people have managed to join the Google Sheet for the recording, which is fantastic. It means that the links are working and so on. What I can't see, but make sure that somebody in each group has the ability to connect to the folder, the other set of links, so that you can actually save the screenshots into that folder.
Okay.
And if you have problems doing that, let me know.
I think you got to get to work. And the way that Michele has set this up, Michele and I and Brian and Paolo are watching. We can watch you. We can come into your room. You can invite us. We won't come in on, well, we might come in and just watch, but we can watch what you're doing without mucking about your decisions. And if you want us to answer any questions, just send us a chat. We have a question, or come, we're bouncing some idea off you. I know nothing about the Amazon. I've flown over it several times. I've never been on the ground, which is why Brian and I, Michele, we're managing local people and Floridians who are making the decisions. It's a South American project. Tiana is here for theoretical reasons, not for making decisions. All right, so go do it. And as far as I'm concerned, speak Spanish or Portuguese. I don't care. Whatever works.
¿Por qué no?
And by the way, geodesign can be automatically translated. It's already been used in about 30 different languages. If you wanted Geodesign Hub to be en español for your students, do it in Espanol. Why not? It's not in English. It's in any language that you pick a button for as an administrator. So get to work. You've got roughly an
now I
hour.
will open the rooms. You should be able to navigate into your team rooms. If you have difficulties, just write which room you want to go in the chat, the name of your group, and I will move you. I will move
Breakout rooms. There's a button on the bottom of your screen called breakout rooms.
4 little square.
Okay.
You can get an alert on the bottom part. Okay, I see people are moving. Ruben is already in his group. Just I will call you and just tell me which room you want to go. Agani is a NAM, right? Alan, which group are you?
There we go.
Okay, some people are moving, not all. I will call you. Just tell me which group are you? Alan, which group are you, please?
I just sent another link to the main project because Tiago, maybe Alan also are still in the rehearsal.
Actually, Alan is not answering. I wonder if he is with us.
Tiago, do you see the link to the main project?
Yes,
in geodesign?
I'm going.
Okay.
Alan is EAM too.
EAM, Tiago, okay.
Yes. Tiago and Alan too. I'm trying to.
Victor, which group are you?
W.
Okay.
WAM.
Okay. Thais, which group are you?
I'm at CAM.
Okay. Roger?
The same as Thais, CAM.
CAM, okay.
The same, yeah.
Okay. And Jessica, which group are you? Should be NAM. Okay, Alan is missing. Alan maybe is not listening us. Which group is Alan? Alan.
Jessica still seems to be here.
EAM. I will move him. Okay. Everybody's in the room now. Okay, I will go to see if Tiana needs any help because some member of her team were not haven't joined the project yet.
Remind me, Michele, before you do that, remind Brian and me and Paolo how we can go into one of these rooms.
I think you should have the icon with the 4 square bottom right.
I do.
And manage it from there. You are also co-host, so you should have a special privilege to go inside the room. Maybe you want to try now, since I'm still here.
I will. I'm going to go to Agani and just see how she's doing.
Okay, NMA.
I'm in North. I'm in North.
Okay. Okay. What about you guys? Are you staying here? Or you like to wander in the rooms?
I think I'm going to take a personal break for a minute.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
I will go.
So people are divided now in the rooms.
Yes.
Yeah.
And where is
go in any room and observe.
I'm going to check every room.
Okay. Just try to, if you are able to move independently.
Yes, I'm able here. I'm going to every room.
Okay, when I'm done with Tiana, I will go back in the main room and see if I will.
I think they have. I'm not so familiar with the General Design Hub, so I should be able to give too much advice about that. But I'll try to anything. You're going to be there around, no, Michele?
Yeah, I go to EAM now, and then but I will be back here shortly in the main room.
All right, I'm going to do a tour.
Okay.
Michele?
Oh, there was a problem actually.
Yes,
I don't know why the room are being closed in 1 minute. I don't know why. Maybe I pushed by.
No, it's my fault. It's my fault.
Okay.
Now listen, you need to go into Agani's room, into North. Go into North, because she's now in 2 different groups.
Okay, I will manage. I will manage. I will manage from Geo Design Hub to.
Because her computer is showing her other group and she's in the right one.
Okay, I will check this.
Okay. Paolo?
Yes.
Why don't you keep an eye on the group that is the central group and the eastern group? Keep your eye on the Brazilian groups, okay?
All right.
And
why are we here?
Everybody's back again.
Yes.
So sorry, guys. By mistake, the room were closed. I'm going to open them again.
Can I please ask Jennifer? I'm still missing Jennifer. If Jennifer is here.
Jessica.
Jessica.
Jessica, sorry. I'm really sorry.
Jessica, are you here?
Yes.
She appears in a picture here.
Okay.
She is here.
Excellent.
Jessica.
Opening again.
Wait.
Michele, is it possible to be able to share the screen once we are in the rooms?
yes,
Are you?
sure
Is,
you can.
is it not possible at the moment?
No, it was not.
Okay, I will try to figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
Should we join now?
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay.
This I have to ask Rishi.
Miguel, por favor, me pones en mi- Spanish. Could you please send me to my group, Michele?
Yes. Who are you, Victor?
W.
Victor is
Yes,
from
Victor.
the West.
W.
West,
Yes, well,
WM.
W. Okay. Let me find you. You should have a button down. I will move to another room.
sorry.
Okay.
I will join my.
Okay.
All right. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, Victor has gone. Okay, now I have to find a way to enable everybody to share the screen. This is something. Okay, found. Okay, I will go to East for a while.
Okay. Gus, are you in a position to go and watch what's happening in the rooms? You should, yeah, good.
Is anybody there?
I think everybody's in the room. I just checked on CA.
I was in NAM and the Agani have said that she is not in the right group in geodesign. She is another group in geodesign of the Zoom.
Oh, Ah, okay. So he's in the wrong project.
Yeah.
You know, if he's been added, what he should,
I am in any of these teams in GeoDesign.
yeah, I mean, the way to move between projects is if you, in the top right-hand corner of the GeoDesign Hub display, there's a little icon, a little person. That's a,
Yeah.
you know, that, yeah. So you just click on that, and it will bring up all of the projects that are available to you.
Yeah.
So
Amazon reversal in Manaus.
You should have, yeah, you should have Amazon GeoDesign, Amazon GeoDesign Rehearsal, and Manaus. So you move, so that everybody is in Amazon GeoDesign at the moment.
Amazon GeoDesign, yeah.
Hey, Michele, you talked with Agni.
Yeah.
She's.
Yeah, she needs help. I'm going there. Okay, thank you.
But I can see the other people of my team in GeoDesign. How I do that, Brian?
You have to join the room. And I was just in a room. I saw everybody there were talking Portuguese.
No, he's talking about in the project. So in GeoDesign Hub,
I can see the other participants listed.
Yeah. Why don't you send a chat to Michele, because it may be because you know you're not a team member, so you're not assigned. Your name won't show up on the team.
Just for check.
Yeah,
No
I'm not a team member, so my name is not turning up either.
And I'm not a member of a team.
Yeah.
All right.
But I went in, and my on the list of breakout rooms in progress, my name is on a team and it's not green. And Gus's name is on a team, the NAM team, and it's not green because you're not in the room.
All right, just for check. Thank you.
Exactly. I'm very interested in one thing that happened, and that is that this afternoon I made some, I mentally went through the plan for today. And I said, you know, we could make a couple of changes. And it went much faster. So we're actually on schedule. And that's always a risk in these things, that you say you have 3 hours and you spend so much time in the front that they don't have time to do the actual things that they have to do. It's a very tricky business of how much you say, how much time you take. But my experience in running, I've done this 100 times, more maybe even, is that if you make a very firm time limit for a very clear task or a relatively clear task, you get exactly the same that if you let it open and let people talk and not decide, this is it, this is it, this is it. And we've shortened the amount of time without losing time to think. Now, at some point, you can't do that. At some point, you have to say, I need to give people time to digest and time to think. And that's why we do this in 3 different days, or two, 3 or 4 different days, depending upon what we're really doing. We used to, Michele and I have done workshops where we do, one of them we did was for 12 hours, one day, 12 hours, and people were dead. And we would do them for long days. And we've learned in the past year or two to break it up into major tasks and 3-hour sessions over the course of a week. And people are happier. They're willing to do that, but they're not willing to give a whole day or 2 days. And that's actually a big, big advantage. But it means you have.
I have a chance to think about it. And it's very important.
Yeah, it's very important.
Even with that's happened with me with all new knowledge. I learn a little bit, and if I keep, I stop to learn. Then I take a break.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think
Very.
that's it really is important. And the other thing that's really different, and that is that in the last year and 2 years with the virus business, people can't give attention to a task for a long time because they have families, they're dealing with many more things. It's not like you're at the university and you're locked from the real world. That's not how it works. And so
your personal bubble.
And so you have to be prepared to deal with that. I mean, I have no problem at all if somebody has a child on their shoulder while they're working on something, no problem. And if they have to go to the doctor and fine. But that's always going to be the advantage when you work in a team. If there are 5 people and one has to go to the bathroom or go to the doctor, 4 people can continue and they can come back.
Yeah. And this is the back and forth with the technology.
Sure.
You can't keep the contact all the time, but the time is variable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's if we have more time to do the better design, the better diagram, this will keep.
Yes, the plan that I have, Brian and I have, is that the next project will have a long time, many, many more participants and much better diagrams. But it still will be faced with what we're learning this week. You'll still have 89 diagrams, maybe 200 diagrams, maybe 200. But you still have to figure out how to organize it to be able to present it to the prime ministers. This is a project that has nine prime ministers, 9 of them. And they each have to have a slightly different version. from all the pieces, and actually governors too. So if you add the Brazilian states and the other countries that have to agree, that's enormous. It's actually enormous. But without the spatial, temporal, economic consequences, they'll never make a plan for the Amazon that makes any sense. Never. So we know that. We know that we have to do a more complicated and slower job of development, get the diagrams right, all the distances, but it doesn't have to be more complicated.
Oh, certainly not. I think that this proof of concept is a very good thing. It can show us the real.
Gus, I think, Gus, if my advice to you for your own learning in this, go into each room, take the time, just go and observe, see what's happening, see if the people are working hard or working happily or confused. And talk to them and get them moving,
All right.
I'm assuming that they're all talking Spanish and Portuguese, and I have no capability in Spanish or Portuguese. So I'm sitting here just waiting for somebody to ask me something.
All right.
Yes. What was I about to say? I got various emails from British Airways. No, did you change anything? From who? Why? Yeah.
Three emails, each with a voucher for 60, two of which were duplicates. And what they were was almost the same number as our 2 days after we come back. And the thing said, here's your refund that you asked for. And I didn't ask for it. So I found them up, and apparently there was
Ainda está se gravando essa reunião. Agora não teria sentido, né? It's still in recording this meeting.
Yeah, that's foolish. This is crazy. He should just, when he comes back.
You should shut off the recording.
Shut off the recording, absolutely.
No problem. But people are working very well.
Good.
Two teams I visited, they were very impressed.
Visit
There's
the
no
others.
room for others. They are all very opinionated.
That's fine. Paulo, I just sent Gus to go make one round. You should do the same. If you've seen two of the teams, go look at the other two. And
all right, I'm going there.
It's a huge advantage to have you go because of the Portuguese. Make sure you see the Portuguese group, but
all
also
right.
the Spanish one.
Let's do that. See you then later.
Yep.
You're back here at 5.
I'm here. I'm just staying here because I don't speak Spanish or Portuguese. And if somebody wants me, I'm happy to go.
All right. But you're back here on 5.
Everybody should be back here 10 minutes before 5.
10 minutes before 5.
Right.
All right. See you then.
We're going to stop at 9 o'clock, Tess. Yeah.
based on what I just saw, it might be good to visit some rooms and hurry people along, because conversations are already getting bogged down in details. Well, this is not really in para state. This is, and we don't have that level of precision. So
I just spoke to Paulo, who said he thought everybody was working quite well.
oh yeah, but it's a matter of, they're not thinking about how much time it's going to take them to do the next step. So
Okay, all right.
need to kept moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go to the central group. Michele? Okay.
Here I am. Yes, Carl.
You're recording, but you should have stopped after, because,
I will stop. Okay.
yeah. What you may want to record
Yeah.
is, I'd like to get everybody back here about 10 minutes before the hour.
Okay.
And I think I do want you to record that, okay?
Okay.
And if a team isn't finished, Brian, are you with us or are you away?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I really would like to get everybody together at about.
Actually, sorry, Carl, just to inform you, I cannot stop the recording now. I don't know why.
Okay, then let it go.
What we should probably do though is we should probably send a message to
Yeah,
chat
exactly,
via chat.
exactly. We said, Michele
Yeah.
or Brian, send a chat saying, finish. And in 10 minutes, we're going to get everybody back for a short discussion. And if you haven't finished, then you'll finish at the beginning of the time tomorrow.
Okay. Are
So
you
you
writing, Brian, or shall I write?
How long are you going to give them, Carl? It's 40 minutes to go.
I would say that they should, maybe 5 minutes before. 5 minutes to the hour, we're going to get everybody together for a short summary. What do you think?
I think it's safe to say in 30 minutes we will stop, and then maybe we can give a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's doing that?
Okay.
Why don't you do it,
Okay.
Brian?
Thanks, Michele. Michele's doing it.
Okay.
It's fine.
I had a group that was still talking as a group of 4 on their decision model. And I said, how come you didn't do it individually? They just looked at me. Okay, fair enough. I said, well, I think you should decide now because you've got a lot of things to do. And they decided.
It may have been the same group that I talked to, and I told them the same. It's like, just do it. Yeah.
And Michele, if you're writing this saying, if you feel you're in a rush, subdivide the task.
Okay.
Subdivide the task.
I'm writing, if you have 30 more minutes to complete the task, and then we will have a final plenary discussion 10 minutes before the hour.
Yes.
If the work is not finished, you can complete tomorrow at the beginning.
Yeah, I think you should. No, I just noticed. Nobody has posted any maps at all. So we're
they're not going to until the end because of that's too many
okay
things.
All right.
But here's what, Brian, when in this plenary session, you should tell them that the coordinator or somebody needs to volunteer to get the loading of those files in right after the workshop. They don't have to do it in the workshop.
Yeah.
But Michele, say at the end of your thing is if you feel you're in a hurry, you must subdivide the task.
Okay. But I will write also, if the work is not finished today, you can complete tomorrow.
No, don't.
Okay,
Let's see what happens. Let's see if they don't finish, they'll finish because they'll finish.
Okay. If you are in a hurry, please
subdivide the task by system. Trust your teammates.
Yeah. And yeah. Okay. The problem is that the NMA, they are only 2 people.
That's fine.
Agani is fast, I believe, but they had a problem with actually Agani was in 2 teams. I don't know how it's.
Yeah, I know.
But we solved it now, so she understood how to go, I think. So
she's good. She's fine. She'll do fine.
Okay.
And she'll learn by doing it herself even. It's just.
Okay, I will take just a few minute breaks. And
Go
I will
ahead.
be back.
Go ahead. Gus, are you with us or are you in a team?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you go around?
Yeah, I moved for some room,
Good.
talked a little, and nobody need nothing.
Hi, Carl. Did it go okay? The loading and so on?
So far, Rishi, one of the things that we're getting better at is a fast introduction. We actually were on schedule and things are going reasonably well. But when you put the participants in the room, they talk, and so it's always the question of talking so much to get the first things done and then getting the last things done in a particular task that has to go very fast. But we're on schedule and it seems to be working. And the response is good. One of the things that I did this time that Michele and I usually didn't do this way is instead of slowly taking them through GeoDesign Hub and making them do things, I just did a demo. I said, watch what happens when I do this, then 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 this. And then Michele and I made some changes. We showed that I could import his work and all of that. And we have not had them each make a diagram and each of them do it. We haven't done that because in this project, we really are allowing that to happen if they need to, but basing it on the diagrams that you and Gus put into the GeoDesign Hub. So this is a project where the preparation of the original diagrams is the critical thing and not the creation of them.
Yeah. But you know, Carl, like that's actually very, very common because very rarely nowadays you will have any site that has like not been studied and like this is seriously studied in some fashion. I mean, Camcox is the same and all of them are the same. And I feel like, I mean, nowadays, like I did a workshop in the morning, we didn't even do any drawings. There was no need for it. Like, what are you going to draw that's so original that has not been covered by like so many clever people prior? So like, and it's actually from a participant point of view, it makes it easier. Then it becomes like, here's my options, which menu do I pick? Rather than let me invent a dish in this restaurant, like,
well, that's what Brian has basically set up with his scripts and his selection sequence, and it's it's going to turn out that the ability to represent complexity graphically is going to be a constraint, and that it's going to turn out something that we've talked about for 5 years or 6 years now already, that the negotiation tools are really the more important tools.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, even like, I know you're not going to touch it, but like, let's say they figure out 10 or 12 of these big projects. I think like it's a pity we don't have enough time, but like, if you remember, like who does what, when does it happen? Like that sort of understanding the structure, how the space and the Amazon links to the organizations, and realizing that like you cannot really make it happen unless Brazil talks to Bolivia in a way that like it makes sense or something,
That's why I still want boundaries. I still want boundaries. And what I'm trying to do, I made a comment to this group of people. I said, be self-interested. Do it from your team's perspective. We want these things in the first round to be different. And I'm hoping that happens. Hoping they're not all trying to be good, nice people.
But I think this project is definitely the frontier. New frontier is opening new frontiers. But still, I believe on the value of having evaluation map and also having the participant drawing. And I never present in a comprehensive, in a detailed way the last Cagliari case study, but we try, and we have a big company supporting us in dealing all the communication with 17 municipalities. And we asked several times, if you have project, send us the files, and impossible. But no, having the project already enabled the participant from the municipality to draw very nice diagrams in a very precise way, and they did it looking at the satellite and the snapping nodes. And also, I think that experience was very successful and valuable, and the data are very valuable. So in some situation, I agree with you, Rishi, that we can go fast and just focus on the selection.
No,
in other cases, I think it's good also let them work with the original workflow that.
No, but I think you're broadly right, but like expecting somebody to draw something for the Amazon.
No, okay.
I think like that's
sort of impossible. I said that from day one. This is crazy. We can't do that.
I think
you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
No, in that case, the data complexity was required to do it differently.
I mean, actually, what I think what you're doing here is absolutely the right thing for large IGC projects, which is basically, don't worry about it. The base background is done. We have miracle workers like Gus. Magicians. I don't know what to call yourself. Newfound title. I don't know.
Well, but it's actually, but you imagine you have a month to do it instead of a week. I mean, that's and if this project goes where I think it's going to go, you'll have 3 months to set it up. And it'll be very, very different, but it might not be very different.
Actually, in Cagliari, we had the same problem because we started by a strategic agenda that was already adopted. And also we have meetings called Living Lab, which were mostly verbal before the workshop with the municipality, with other stakeholders. So we had a number of projects described verbally as in the SPA, and we organized a story map to present the evaluation maps for each system. So we show the input data, the evaluation maps, and we put a list of the projects that were proposed before the workshop verbally. So the people from the municipality could look at the list and see whether their projects were consistent with those verbal projects and try to make the connection that way. And we use the number of the verbal project to create the link in the name of the diagrams.
Yeah,
Michele?
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Just time out.
Okay.
Send a 15, what time is it now? 35?
Is it 25 to the hour?
It's 35. It's 25 to
25.
the hour. 25. Send a 15-minute warning.
Okay. I hope they are receiving my messages. They should. There was before a control to send directly from the breakout rooms panel to send a message to everybody, but I can't find it anymore. The new way to developing software is that the interface changes every time you use
Every
it.
time. Gus, it might be helpful for you to take a tour and just get a sense of where people are. I hope that they've divided the task among people, and each person has to make three of the screenshots. I think that that's a good way to work. If they're in trouble, you can tell them that we're going to have a discussion. They can wait 10 more minutes after the meeting and finish, but they really should finish the task recording and saving the screenshots before they quit, if that's feasible. Otherwise, it has to be in the beginning of the next session.
All right.
It's the key to making the next design in a relatively short time.
Okay.
Anyway, I think the group today is a pretty good group.
Yeah, I agree. We have some very serious people. Carrie Simmons is the author of one of the best papers on the future of the Amazon, a very pessimistic paper. And I'm very glad that she's been able to join us.
Carol, you are going to Venice very soon?
Saturday.
Very good.
For a
Good
week.
way to have some rest after this long preparation.
A little bit of drawing, a little bit of eating. I only hope we have no aqua alta.
Oh, I hope so. They had on the other side, in Genoa, on the east, on the west. And are you going to the theater? Did you book anything?
I don't know. I don't even know whether we can get tickets to the theater. No, but if there's an opera and we can get tickets, we would go.
Last time I was in Venice for a conference, I managed to book a balcony in the Fenice Theater.
Yeah, we've had Tess and I. We have a friend whose mother had tickets, and we got her box. We sat in the box. It was very nice.
Yeah.
What's on it, Fenice, Tess? Anything? Oh, no, that's no good. No, there are no performances the week that we're there.
Okay.
But the Biennale is on. We're meeting 3 other friends. 4, actually, 4. One is Venetian, Fabio Carrera.
Okay.
Fabio is an old friend. He took.
I know Fabio. Yeah.
Okay.
We had some contact.
Yeah.
And
We're still discussing a workshop on Venice. It's still under discussion.
Let's see.
Brian, what have you observed?
One group is still working on the decision model.
Really? Really?
Yes, oh, really? Yes.
Who, the NAM?
Yeah. But I think that's maybe the one thing I think we can expect that a lot of the teams are well behind here. And I think what we have to do is we have to be prepared to spend the beginning part of tomorrow doing some of this.
No question.
But you have to stress trust each other. You know, that these project problems are too big to discuss every point on them.
I'm going to do that. But keep in mind that we have 2 cycles tomorrow. We can stop it for a POC.
Yeah.
We can stop at 1 cycle. So everything will be fine.
I think once people get moving, we'll be fine. It's just, they're reluctant to kind of show their hands and things like that.
I'll do that.
Yes,
And then,
I'm sure you will.
and then they will sleep on it, and tomorrow everything will
Exactly,
be more
exactly.
clear.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there'll be less blood on the ground tomorrow.
No, actually, it is very good to split in different days, short
Yeah.
sessions, because it gives
Yeah.
times to reflect and think about it, and then work better.
Yeah.
When I work with the municipalities, actually, they did a lot of work in between sessions,
Yeah.
more than they did in the actual session.
Well, I think in this case too, you know, people have not seen this list of priorities before. You know, it's all new, and they're probably as surprised by what they're seeing on that list.
No,
as
it
we-
was not a simple task, actually.
Yeah. I have taken some screenshots of the breakout rooms working. Some of them are
That's-
very good, you know.
We need a screenshot of everybody together.
I
Oh,
took once at the
done that.
beginning. Maybe
done that already?
not
Great.
everybody was there, but I have
Yeah.
one from one room and one from the toilet, from the main
Yeah.
Well,
room.
but we can always fill it in,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
when everybody gets together now.
Yeah,
That's another
good,
one,
yeah. I think good.
Brian, I'm going to say some words and then I think that I'll simply say, look, if you haven't finished, go home. And be ready to work hard at the beginning of the next day.
Yeah.
As opposed to finish late.
Yeah.
And then what you need to say is make sure before you quit today that one person is responsible for collecting screenshots and getting them into my form number A, and some person is responsible for recording what went into those designs. And they'll have to do that among themselves live or by email somehow.
Yeah.
I think some lesson that we can learn from this is that probably in a second workshop like this, we should have an assistant in each room, in each group.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Because this is the task
Absolutely
that
right.
is required.
Absolutely right. And that we're actually training these people now, in a sense, to do that.
Yeah, and I think to add to one thing though, Michele, it needs to be a person who's of the group too.
Yeah.
Because you know when we go into the room, you kind of, it's fairly awkward, you know, because there's a language gap, there's an expertise gap, and so on. So that it needs to be, you know, people like Gus and so on that understand what's going on and can be, yeah, they can assist, but they're also part of the action too.
I will inform that they have 5 more minutes. We are 15 to the
Yeah.
hour now.
Michele, are you using broadcast message to do that?
Actually, I'm using the main chat. I cannot find the broadcast.
It's at the bottom of the breakout rooms window.
I cannot see it.
Oh, okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I'll send them a message. So we're going to close all rooms in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And add a line saying, we are not surprised if you're not finished. So that they come in calm.
I wonder why I cannot see the broadcast message button.
What can't you do? Can't see?
The broadcast message.
It's right in, at least on mine, it's right next to where it says close all rooms.
I don't
At
have
the,
it.
at the bottom of the breakout rooms window.
I don't have it. I used to use it. I used to have it in the previous meeting, but I cannot find it now.
Maybe it's a Macintosh versus Windows thing.
I will try to change the resolution of my screen, because this is what sometimes happen with mobile phone. If you change resolution.
Oh, you think you're missing part of the pop-up?
Maybe. No, still I cannot see it. Maybe I have different updates. It's very strange, very, very strange.
Which version of Zoom do you have?
Let me check if I can find. Actually, I'm using the web version. I don't think I have installed the.
Okay.
I'm using the same computer I used for the previous DLA and IGC meeting. So and I used to have that menu. I have a new app menu called App that was not here previously.
What's it called?
App, like an application, like app in the mobile app. APP.
Huh. Okay. And it's probably it's probably different on every browser as well. I closed everything down today except for.
That's I can't hear you. No, don't yet. It's I've got 10 minutes at least of discussion.
So it is 11 to the hour. Shall I close the room?
Let's close the rooms, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have the close the room button anymore. Let me check.
It's 10 minutes. It's 11 minutes to 9.
Okay. Oh, now I understand, because Rishi,
11
as
minutes
Rishi came in, I'm not organizer anymore. Rishi, can you make me host again, please?
I can close it.
Yeah,
closed
I'll make it. I don't know why Zoom does that.
Because recognize you as the boss.
They've got I did it, so they've got 45 seconds left.
Okay, thank you. Yes, because I did you and Carl co-host, but now I'm host again. Okay. So I will continue the registration at this point, Carl.
Yep. Let's get everybody.
And Rishi, I'm recording in the cloud.
Yeah, that should not be a problem. I think, yeah, we just have plenty of space anyways.
Paolo, are you happy so far?
I have what?
Are you happy so far?
I'm happy, very happy. Let's see what's going on to be in the last day. We got the good people working together. That's nice.
Great group.
So we're back.
Everybody's back. Everybody's back. Good. We're getting there. Great. Well, let's just take time out for a moment. I'm gonna talk a little bit about history of this kind of work. Michele and Rishi, Brian, we used to do this by getting people in one location, and we would do it over a 2-day period, working 10 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. with breaks. And that disappeared a year and a half ago, and we started to work much more on Zoom. And it was Rishi's experience, which was very clear, that what we ought to do is plan these studies so that they come in 3-hour bursts at the maximum. And that we always would plan it in such a way that the first day, which was for most people, a totally new experience. Absolutely never saw anything like this in my life. And with some people doing it for the second or third time, with very few people being really quite comfortable and experienced. So most of you are doing this for the first time. Some of you from a different field of study to working in this manner and working in a very large area. And so there are habits that you have of working, and there are cultural habits. One of the cultural habits that's the most difficult to deal with is the need to talk. And in many university environments in particular, discussion is the objective, not decision-making. And here, for a whole variety of reasons, you have to do two things that is really strange in a university. One is to trust your teammates, and the other is to make decisions and get on with it. But that's what's necessary. But before that becomes feasible, you have to be comfortable. And you have to know enough to see the bigger picture before you can say, okay, things are going reasonably well. And the second preconception that is so difficult is that the university culture, which is highly specialized, seeks perfection. And we're not seeking perfection. We're thinking 30 years ahead. There's no map that shows 30 years ahead. There's no model that is highly detailed that can say for sure that's going to happen. So what really you're doing here is you're dealing with strategies, not tactics. And the bigger the project, where none of you have ever seen the whole place. It's not like you're building a building and you've been there for a year and you've been on 30 every day you've seen this place. No, none of you have seen everything. Most of you haven't seen 1% of the study area. So how can you believe in precision? Now, this is a proof of concept. It's not a final plan. It's not a public plan. Nobody's going to do anything with it except say, you know, we could really do this much better if we took a month and we spent a lot of time making the best analytics that we could. So there's no reason to argue. There's no reason to talk a lot. There is a reason to see what's going on. There is a reason to understand a method. There is a reason to be comfortable in new technology. But there's a real need to get the damn thing done. And now nobody's finished. We know that. We didn't expect you to be finished. But we do expect you to have a sense of the land. We do expect you to know who your teammates are. And frankly, I would guess that some of you have 2 or 3 of these done. Maybe one has 6, and maybe there's even a group that hasn't got any of them done. So what do we do now? Here's what we do now. We stop. Everybody goes home. They have lunch or dinner or go to sleep, as Tiana and I will. She in Serbia, me in London, and Rishi will certainly go to his family. And what we're going to do is we're going to come back tomorrow at the exact time, and you're going to finish this task in 20 minutes. Why? Because before you leave here tonight, you'll have done the following things. Each team will say, this person is going to collect all the screenshots and get them to Brian. This person is going to make a chart. And when we get together tomorrow, after 20 minutes or 15 minutes, we're going to subdivide. You're going to make numbers 1, 3, and 6. I'm going to make 2, 5, and 2, and 9. And we'll finish this task in 20 minutes, maybe 30 at the most. We'll give Brian what he wants, and he'll tell you again what he wants. And then we'll have less time to make the designs that are the next stage and that are far more important. But if you take too much time on that task, you'll take it from the second round. And if you take too much time from that task, you'll take it from the final negotiation. But that's the problem, that the Prime Minister wants the answer on Friday, not next week. And you always have to get your mind in a project like this on what do we need to do by when, and how much time does it take to get going from 0 to when on time? And that's a discipline that is really hard in various cultures, in particular academic cultures. But that's the reality of the real world. If you were the Minister of Environment for Peru, Brazil, Guyana, Para, and the Prime Minister or the governor said, Pierre, I need this thing on Friday, I'm meeting with the United Nations, or I'm meeting with the World Bank. And you say, oh, well, we can't agree on the decision model. We can't do this. We have to do this. Nonsense. Spend the 5 minutes. Make a decision. It's a proof of concept. It's not the final design. The fourth design is the final design. That's when you'll be arguing. Not now. You can always change your mind between now and Friday, which I said, but it's cultural. Now, so that's where we are. We're not going to finish today. You're not going to finish the task. But each team has to talk to itself, decide what they're going to do between now and then, which means think about it. You know what the software is. You know exactly what it is. If you want to play with the software, for example, the people from Manaus, if you want to draw projects for Manaus before the workshop or after, go into the rehearsal project. Use that any way you want. But don't touch the Amazon Geodesign project that we're really working on, because that you could really screw up if you start doing things. But basically, we're not going to finish today. 3 hours on a new project is hard work. People have to relax. But you have to be prepared tomorrow to dive in and get it done, because the next task gets easier after this one. And the third task is a really hard one to get the negotiation. Tess, that's my smoke alarm, because my dinner is being made because it's 9 o'clock at night in London. Sorry. Thanks, London. Okay, so Brian, when we get together tomorrow, what is it that you want to add to my polemic? And I'm not saying these things to insult anybody. Believe me, some of you are more experienced at your work than I am at mine. But I'm really saying that when different scientists, designers, planners get together, we start out with different languages. And this is a graphic language which is easy to understand once you learn the language, which is why it's good for negotiation. You'll see how the negotiation is the third day is the really important day, when you'll see why this is useful. I'm going to go in the other room, Tess. It's all right. I know.
I don't need to add much to that. And although as I went around the different breakout rooms, it's great to see the conversations. You're all getting to know new people and new ways of working, which is just overcoming that or getting used to that is a huge task in itself. But the one thing I do want, as Carl said, and you can organize this by email. You've all got each other's email addresses that we sent to you earlier. Just make sure that one of you is going to take the responsibility for transferring the numbers off of that paper sheet into the Google sheet that's online. And another one of you or more of you is going to take responsibility for transferring the screenshots that you have and putting them into the folders that are also on Google. If you have any difficulty at all with any part of that, just don't hesitate to give me an email. But in the chat, I did put the links up again in the chat. If you're still not sure about what they should be, they're just only a few items back in the chat box here. But there's the team folders and the recording sheet. Those are the two things. Like I said, if you don't need to be part of this Zoom call to be able to do that. That's just simple stuff. Just dump the material into those places, and we've got a good record of it. So that's all I have to say. Just looking forward to seeing what you do next.
Any general questions that Tiana, you have a general question? Go ahead. You're muted.
Sorry.
Tiana.
Yes. Can I just ask about because we haven't reached the point of making maps. I am just following Gus' advice to do first the most important systems.
Absolutely.
So that would be important, perhaps only one person to go and make the maps along the lines of decisions that were already recorded in the priorities sheet.
The making of the maps is a very easy thing once you've got the decision. If
Yeah.
you do have the decisions on paper, one person can make all the maps in 15 minutes, very easily.
So that would be important. So we don't divide that task. It's just important to divide the task about the priorities.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so. And the more you're prepared to, what we're going to do tomorrow is I'm going to set out, and Brian and I are going to set out what the two pieces that we want. We want all of your priority projects in a particular way put into a map, and all your priority policies in a particular way put into a map. All right. So you have to have those. And the more time you spend tomorrow getting them in the first place, the less time you have pushing down the revision to versions 2, version 3 of your design to make it better and better and better. And in the process of revising your design, you may revise these original inputs, right? So keep in mind, you're approaching the world, you're approaching a complex world system by system. But in the making of the design, you're going to be getting, let me digress. If, for example, supposing that you need a monitoring system for forestry, okay, as one of your priorities, and you haven't done a satellite system for allowing the digital world and the satellites to do the monitoring for the system you want to monitor. You'll learn that real fast when you start putting these systems together. You want industry in the middle of the Amazon, but you haven't produced factories and transportation to get the stuff to the market. Those relationships among systems begin tomorrow. They're not there today yet. They begin tomorrow. And then the relationships between policies and projects, that's Friday. So the complexity of this process is building up from ideas into systems, from systems into linkages, and linkages into politics. And it's very purposeful. And we've built in time for the schedule to be broken, which it has been, but it's not a surprise. It's just not a surprise, all right? So everybody should be very happy surviving. And it'll get more interesting as we get in. And you'll get to know some people much, much better, actually. So I just please excuse my bluntness, but it is my style. It's been my style for the whole of my academic life. And I'm a very sweet, friendly person, except when I'm in the process of telling people that they talk too much. That's very, very simple. All right, Brian, you're done. Anything else? Now, Michele, it might be useful oh, it's 7 minutes after. I think what it would be very wise to do is if the coordinators of each team set up an email or communication, or do you want, Michele, do you have 15 more? Oh, no, you're even later than me. It's 10 o'clock for you at
It's
night.
okay. I can open again the breakout room if you want.
Let's do that. Let's open up. Look, Brian, I'm going to stop because Tess has dinner on the table, as you can tell from the smoke in the room. I'm going to stop. Michele, you open the breakout room. Brian, you can leave also. And then maybe 15 minutes, close it up, and everybody know what their situation is. You don't have to do things tomorrow, but we'll give you the time. But what we're going to do when we get together is I'll ask each of the coordinators to simply tell us where you are. There's no penalty. We'll make the time for you. Tell us where you are so we judge how much time you need. And then we jump right into the first set of the two things that we want to end up with. And if we end up with that real fast, we make the first design, then we redo it and we make the second design. We must make 2 rounds of design of the synthesis tomorrow so that we have things to negotiate. Okay? So tomorrow is going to be the most pressured day, but we have time. Once you get these first diagrams, you'll see how fast it goes. All right, so Michele, let everybody have a very good evening. Sleep well, relax, come back refreshed, and we'll carry on. And
Yeah,
right?
I'll be around for a few minutes because it's not even cocktail hour for me yet.
Okay, so I'm off to dinner and to sleep, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Michele, right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Carl.
Okay, take it easy.
Okay, I'm
Well done.
opening the rooms again. I can leave it open for 15, 20 minutes as much as you need, and then you can leave. And then just when I will see that the room will be empty, I will just close this.
And well done for surviving.
Okay, thank you.